Tonight, the urgent manhunt for Charlie Kirk's killer. The new surveillance image the FBI wants you to see. Do you know this man? Police believe he's a person of interest in the shocking political assassination. The high-powered rifle they found and the footprint they're using to hunt down the killer, they say fired from about 200 yards away, then jumped off a roof and fled into a nearby neighborhood. This video showing a person in that same elevated location. The manhunt, as President Trump says, he plans to honor Kirk with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. This as the trial for the man who police say tried killing President Trump begins. Ryan Ruth representing himself in court, coming face to face with the agent who first spotted him near the president. Inside Epstein's inbox, the massive trove of emails obtained by Bloomberg News shedding new light on his relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, including their plans to undergo fertility treatments. The massive gas truck explosion in Mexico City, killing at least 8 people. The breakthrough in our series, The Cost of Denial. 2 brothers battling the same genetic disorder. One approved for treatment by their insurance, the other denied. The classmates inspired by our report, what they did, and the emotional announcement you're about to hear. And on this September 11th, we meet a new generation of heroes, following in the footsteps of their fathers who gave it all 24 years ago. What they hope the nation remembers. Nightly News starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
And good evening. An urgent manhunt is underway right now for the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk. The FBI releasing these images of a person of interest in the fatal shooting. Take a good look. You can see him there with dark sunglasses, a hat, and a shirt. Authorities say they're reviewing images that show a man entering campus, going through stairwells, up to the roof, firing, then fleeing into a neighborhood. They believe a single shot was fired approximately 200 yards away. Authorities were on a roof today. You see them right there near the spot where a person was seen yesterday. The FBI says it recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle, the weapon they believe killed Kirk. The 31-year-old was a prolific conservative commentator, and his killing is sparking difficult questions about the safety of political figures now in America. We begin tonight with Morgan Chesky on the scene.
Tonight, the massive manhunt. Authorities releasing these images of a person of interest in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, offering a $100,000 reward for information, revealing they've now found the weapon that was used.
It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled.
And more potential critical evidence near the crime scene.
Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis.
President Trump late today.
I hear they're making big progress.
And we're getting new information about the grim timeline. Investigators say the shooter arrived on Utah Valley University's campus at 11:52 a.m. We spoke to Utah DPS Commissioner Bo Mason.
We know what time the gunman arrived on campus.
Yes.
Do we know if he had the rifle with him when he did?
We believe he did. We believe it was with him the entire time, concealed.
Authorities say surveillance video captures him climbing stairwells to the top of a building, then moving across its roof to the shooting location, which was roughly 175 yards away from the stage. The roof with easy access.
It is very accessible.
Doors to access unlocked.
Not even doors. There's open pathways with railings that you stand over.
So there's somebody on the roof right there?
This video appearing to catch a glimpse of a figure dressed in black up on top of that very roof. Then Kirk arrived for the event, throwing hats to a cheering crowd before taking audience questions under a tent. Around 12:20 p.m., he was answering a question about mass shootings.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
The video too disturbing to show. 3,000 people in the crowd, then screaming and running for their lives. Security rushing Kirk out in a black SUV.
Stop, folks!
While this video appears to show someone up on that roof running away. Amid the chaos of that fatal shot, authorities say the gunman then jumped off a building, making his way off this campus into a nearby neighborhood. Brandon Russin was close to the stage.
All of a sudden, my heart just dropped to my stomach, and I knew after seeing the graphic nature of that shot that it was real, that Charlie had been shot.
After diving to the ground, he texted his wife.
What do you say?
The most important words I can say: I love you.
And Morgan joins us now live. Morgan, we are seeing the alerts tonight come into the newsroom. They are now telling the public there are rapid developments. What do we know?
Yeah, Tom, that's right. And we're still awaiting those extra details. But Commissioner Mason did tell me that when he viewed the surveillance footage of the suspect as they made their way across campus, he said he appeared to be comfortable, almost familiar with the layout of this campus, adding that when that fatal shot was fired, the gunman did appear to have a face covering on, concealing his identity. Tom?
Morgan Chesky with that new reporting right there. Morgan, we thank you. Now to the growing security concerns after Charlie Kirk's assassination, with President Trump tonight revealing he'll attend Kirk's funeral next weekend. Gabe Gutierrez has the late details.
At the Pentagon, honoring today's 9/11 anniversary, President Trump announcing he'd posthumously award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Charlie was a giant of his generation.
Vice President Vance landing late today in Utah to see Kirk's family. The president speaking with Kirk's wife, Erica, by phone.
We had a long talk, and she's devastated.
And suggesting he knows the motive.
I have an indication, yeah, but we'll let you know about that later.
The 31-year-old conservative star remembered tonight for rallying young voters and encouraging open debate, often taking questions from Democrats on campus.
Do you think gun ownership is a privilege or a right?
I think it is a privilege.
That's where we disagree.
Donald Trump Jr. was a close friend.
He could just relate to people, even his biggest detractors. I mean, on a daily basis, Charlie Kirk gave them a platform to debate these ideas.
The president now blaming what he calls the radical left.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today.
But threats against high-profile figures from both parties are on the rise. Capitol Police telling NBC News its agents are on track to work through roughly 14,000 threat cases this year alone, which would be a 48% increase from 2024. In just over a year, there have been 2 attempts on President Trump's life. A Democratic state lawmaker and her husband were murdered in Minnesota, and the residence of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro was firebombed.
The assassination of Charlie Kirk risks an uncorking of political chaos and violence that we cannot risk in America.
Just today, a string of threats forced several historically black colleges and the DNC headquarters to be locked down. Tom?
All right, Gabe Gutierrez for us. And in a Florida courtroom today, testimony began in the trial of the man prosecutors say plotted to assassinate President Trump on a golf course. Here's Jesse Kirsch.
Defending himself, today Ryan Ruth came face to face with the former Secret Service agent who spotted him in a sniper hide, allegedly waiting to assassinate President Trump. Robert Furcano revealing that while then candidate Trump played golf in South Florida last September, Ruth was closer to the Republican presidential nominee than previously known, just 1 hole away. Furcano testifying he spotted Ruth and a rifle barrel pointed directly at my face, testifying I feared for the life of the president. Furcano says that's when he fired at Ruth, who did not shoot back. Then Ruth questioned Furcano, who prosecutors credit with saving the president's life. Is it good to be alive, asked the defendant. Furcano responding, yes, it feels good to be alive.
Walk straight back!
Prosecutors say Ruth fled the scene, but not before witness Tommy McGee spotted him driving off. As Ruth cross-examined McGee, the questioning quickly went off the rails. At one point, Ruth gave McGee a thumbs up, saying, "You're the man. Good job." The day began in similarly bizarre fashion. In his opening statement, Ruth spoke about Hitler, Putin, Iran, and Israel instead of focusing on the facts of the case. He was supposed to have roughly 40 minutes to speak, but the judge cut him off after only about 5. Tom?
Jesse Kirsch on day 1 of that trial. Jesse, we thank you. And there are new details tonight in a school shooting that left 2 students in critical condition and the gunman dead. Authorities revealing the shooter was radicalized by an extremist network. Dana Griffin reports.
Tonight, Colorado authorities identifying 16-year-old Desmond Hawley as the student who opened fire at Evergreen High School using a revolver. Investigators did not say where the shooter got the gun, but said he was radicalized by an extremist network.
He tried to find new targets, and he came up against a roadblock on many of those doors. He couldn't get to those kids.
They say he continued to reload as he shot out windows and at lockers. Tonight, officials say 2 students remain in critical condition. Authorities say they have obtained search warrants for his home, phone, and locker, and add that his parents are cooperating with the investigation.
And those teachers and those students did their job and took into account what they've learned, and it kept them safe.
Investigators say the motive for the shooting remains unclear. Because of the significant cleanup, Evergreen High will remain closed this week.
All right, Dana joins us now live. Dana, it's no secret a lot of America is on edge right now, and there were threats at other schools today?
That's right, Tom. Earlier at the University of Massachusetts, some students there evacuating as law enforcement responded to reports of a shooting. And as Gabe mentioned earlier, several historically black colleges and universities were forced to go on lockdown today after threats toward those campuses. Authorities say none of the threats were deemed credible. Tom?
All right, Dana Griffin for us. Dana, thank you. We turn now to an update in the Epstein files. As the battle to make more Epstein documents public rages on, Bloomberg News has obtained thousands of Jeffrey Epstein's personal emails, which shed new light on just how close he was to Ghislaine Maxwell, including discussions for the two to undergo fertility treatment. Here's Hallie Jackson.
New insight tonight into the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell from a trove of purported emails, more than 18,000 published by Bloomberg News, which suggests Maxwell and Epstein were closer in many respects than either publicly admitted. In her July interview with the Deputy Attorney General, Maxwell, Epstein's convicted co-conspirator, recounts asking Epstein about the initial investigation into him.
He said, not to worry. He didn't say, he didn't share. I wasn't part of it at all.
The Bloomberg report suggests she counseled Epstein after that. At one point, he asked her advice on what charge to negotiate in his 2008 plea agreement. I suppose lewd and lascivious conduct, she responded. NBC News has not independently obtained or verified the emails. Bloomberg says they were authenticated using cryptographic and metadata analysis and corroboration with external sources. The outlet says one email included a detailed spreadsheet of 2,000 gifts and payments, like, quote, lingerie and chocolates, some for teenage girls who later lodged sexual abuse complaints. Except for 3 minor instances, Bloomberg says the emails do not otherwise mention President Trump, who has said his relationship with Epstein ended in the early 2000s. The White House calling it, in part, stupid fake news. Maxwell's attorney has not responded to NBC's request for comment. And for the first time, revelations Maxwell and Epstein were going through a fertility treatment together, according to Bloomberg, years after she said they broke up. In 2005, Bloomberg says Maxwell emailed Epstein detailed instructions on a sperm donation, adding, "You can do the sample at home." And tonight, fallout internationally, with the British Prime Minister firing the UK ambassador to the US because they say these newly released emails show that the extent of his relationship with Epstein was greater than previously known. Tom?
All right, Hallie Jackson for us. In 60 seconds, why this classroom burst into cheers. A boy we introduced you to right here on Nightly News just got the call of his lifetime. He was approved for a life-changing treatment. The big update when we come back. Now to our series, The Cost of Denial. Tonight we have a major update to a story about 2 brothers, both with a debilitating genetic disorder. One approved for a treatment that could help, the other denied. Maggie Vespa now with what happened shortly after our story aired.
2 brothers battling the same devastating disease just want the same medicine. It's why 9-year-old Noah Small on the right pleaded 10-year-old Hunter's case to the family's insurance company, mailing this letter last week.
You have a copy of the letter here. Would you mind reading it to me?
Yeah. Dear Blue Cross Blue Shield Federal, I'm writing to ask you to accept my brother Hunter for gene therapy. I received gene therapy in March. Now I am able to swim and learn how to ride my bike. At recess, I can be more active and score touchdowns.
Growing up outside Chicago with their oldest brother Carter and parents William and Allison, Noah and Hunter both suffer from Duchenne muscular dystrophy, or DMD, a rare genetic disorder that progressively attacks a person's muscles, leaving most children wheelchair-bound by age 12 with an average life expectancy under 30. You can already see the effects on Hunter's legs, his larger calves layered with scar tissue.
How does it make you feel?
Tired a lot.
It makes you feel tired a lot? There's nothing that you can do.
Last month, Nightly News spoke with the family about their efforts to get Elevidys, a one-time dose gene therapy that has been shown to slow DMD's progress. The cost, $3.2 million. Noah was approved for coverage, receiving the treatment earlier this year. Doctors initially hesitated with Hunter to make sure his heart, which had been impacted by DMD, was strong enough. They soon signed off. But when we first met the family...
Your insurance company is denying one son, correct, the same treatment your other son has received and seems to be thriving after receiving.
Correct. Yes, it's baffling.
Their insurer, Blue Cross Blue Shield's federal employee program, denied coverage for Hunter twice. Blue Cross Blue Shield declined to discuss the specific case, citing patient privacy, saying its decisions are guided by nationwide best practices for care, helping to identify what has proven successful for members in the past. 2 weeks after our initial story, we followed the brothers back to school where, because their legs tire easily, they use elevators and scooters. Their fellow classmates launched a letter-writing campaign to get Hunter the treatment.
They had very strong opinions. I'm not happy about this. This doesn't sound right. I think we should revisit this.
And today, the principal had news for them.
We're happy to announce that Hunter did get approved, so he is also going to receive his.
The family saying after filing yet another appeal, Blue Cross Blue Shield told them this week Hunter's treatment had been approved. The news still setting in for Hunter.
You're getting the medicine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you excited?
Yeah.
His parents now scrambling to schedule his gene therapy appointment as soon as possible, grateful for the groundswell.
I even had somebody stop at our door the other day, said, I saw the piece on NBC. I have ideas for you.
And I think it really shows the good in the world, I almost say, that every little bit you can make a difference.
It's going to give them a better quality of life for a longer period of time. So that's why we fought so hard.
Two brothers with a village behind them now getting the same fighting chance. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Winnetka, Illinois.
And we are so happy Hunter and Noah are getting coverage. We're back in a moment with the highway disaster. Several people killed, nearly 100 hurt after an oil tanker exploded. What happened? That's next. We are back now with a critical moment for democracy in South America. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has been convicted and sentenced to more than 27 years in prison by Brazil's Supreme Court for plotting a coup to stay in power after losing the 2022 election. Bolsonaro is an ally of President Trump, calling the conviction very surprising. Also tonight, Mexico City's government says at least 8 people are dead and more than 90 were hurt after this gas tanker truck exploded under a highway overpass. Officials say they are investigating, but that it appears it happened after the truck flipped over. All right, when we come back, 9/11 remembered, how 3 members of the FDNY are carrying on their father's legacies. Stay with us.
This young guy.
It has been a tense 24 hours for the nation. A political assassination, a school shooting, scares on campus, all as we mark 24 years since the 9/11 attacks. So we wanted to leave you with a story of hope, a new generation of heroes inspired by the brave Americans of September 11th. Here's Sam Brock.
For a second today, time stood still as a nation honored the thousands killed on September 11th and the bravery of those who responded from Lower Manhattan to Pennsylvania to our nation's capital, where President Trump attended a ceremony at the Pentagon. And for 3 members of the FDNY, all sons of fallen firefighters, every day is painful.
We, as a department, have that slogan of never forget, right? And it's not just never forget the guys, it's never forget the actions that they took. Never forget what they did that day.
Battalion Chief Chris Gansey, Lieutenant Chris Mascali, and firefighter Scott Larson all upended after their fathers tried to rescue victims in the rubble or in the towers.
I do remember being at my grandparents' house and just, like, he was supposed to come home that night. And it was about 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and, you know, everyone was starting to see, like, the writing on the wall, and it was a very emotional day for me.
My 13-year-old keeps asking me, she goes, I can't believe he did that. And it's funny because now we're all in a job and we're like, no, I absolutely can believe that he did that. Like, this is what we do. Like, we don't leave our guys, we stay. And he stayed.
For Mascali, the loss proved a call to action.
I go to work each day and I hold myself accountable because I know he would hold me accountable, right? And it's to serve and to be a part of this department.
We asked the trio about lessons for younger generations.
What I would say to them is, look at what happened in the days after 9/11, and look at how the United States and the country surrounded each other.
Would be a pretty good lesson for right now, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
We're all people at the end of the day.
A shared humanity they say we should always remember, especially now. Sam Brock, NBC News, New York.
The next generation of New York's bravest. Our thanks to Sam Brock for that story, and we thank you for watching Nightly News on this Thursday. I'm Tom Llamas. Tonight, and always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.